How can YNBT change our society? Despite the common narrative of helplessness, all it actually takes to make these changes are voices and choices. With enough signatures, with enough voices, with enough polls, with enough resources, these things become very practical. If there's anything that recent events around the world prove, it's that things are still capable of changing drastically and quickly, for better or worse. Even just us normal peasants can completely alter any given system we're a part of. That's literally our right as those who the system is composed of. We are the systems we live in. We are the societies we live in. We are allowed to stop working for dreams we don't believe in, and we are allowed to start building our own dreams, and we are allowed to make those dreams a reality. And they truly can be, I promise. And we aren't just allowed to do these things are desperately needed, and they're what's always been needed. Your dreams can and should be used to make the world a better place. Even if you haven't found your dream yet, even if you haven't found people who you want to share it with, you will. YNBT is your next big thing. All of our next big thing, the next big thing. The first dream-building platform made for the modern era, made for the practicalities, made for the real world, made not to accept things how they are, made to change things into how you think they should be. A way to make real change that really reflects, represents, and respects the great variety of people and dreams that inhabit this planet. Even if we can't always articulate it properly, even if we don't communicate about it, or even if we don't think about it at all, everyone has preferences. Things you like or want to happen, and things you don't like or don't want to happen. You get the point. For simplicity's sake, at YNBT, we just call those preferences our dreams. I dream of creating a small city, well under 1 million people, with state-of-the-art infrastructure, including energy-efficient desalination plants, ample energy production, a secure, independent electrical grid with proper protection from power loss, a city with its own independent education system, its own healthcare system, hospitals with ample space and supplies in underground bunkers with space for all our citizens for when the crap hits the fan, a city with its own economy and its own political system, a parallel society built by and for those it can properly serve, composed of like-minded dreamers. And all it takes for that dream to become real is our combined voices and choices. There are so many versions of what a society can look like, so many types of systems and structures to choose from or create anew. We're at a crossroads as a species. We always are, a crossroad with many different directions we could go, many paths, many choices, and far too often we're being told we don't have a choice. So time to get down to the nuts and bolts. Let's talk about some specifics and some terminology. My dream city, for example, it will require full parallelization. It will require systems of governance that don't work in series with legacy systems. It will require new legislation and regulations, for example, a new constitution. It will also require structures that cannot exist in series with legacy structures, an independent power grid, for example. These things, together with a city full of people living outside of legacy society, are a parallel society. A society existing alongside legacy society, not crossing it, not fighting it, not trying to destroy it, but in parallel with it. Doing our own thing, with medium-sized groups of other humans who roughly agree about how things should be, creating high levels of cohesion and cooperation. True diversity isn't shoving everyone into one pot and stirring them into a single stew against their will. True diversity only exists if a diversity of dreams exists, a diversity of thoughts and ideas, a diversity of systems and societies. When there's only room for one dream, one world, one system, then there really isn't room for any. Globalization and mass centralization is the doom of dreams, the doom of individuality, and the end of true diversity. We must decentralize dreams. There must be room for many dreams to exist alongside one another, a diversity of dreams in parallel, and that's where YNBT comes in to fulfill its most important role, parallelization. Is it even possible? Yes, it is, and it's what most of our resources will go towards. Why isn't anyone doing it already? Actually, there's versions of this going on all the time, all around us, and even in our daily lives. It takes many forms and comes in all shapes and sizes. Let's take a quick look at the US, for example. Like many large countries, they've baked parallelization right into the system. There's the federal, state, and local systems of governance, each overlapping with each other, but also diverging. As systems, they are not parallel, they work in series. But the autonomy baked into these systems allows for, and even demands, parallelization. Some interesting or controversial examples are abortion regulations, gun regulations, taxing regulations, THC regulations. That's a good one. THC is federally scheduled as an illicit substance with no medical value and is therefore a federally banned and illegal substance of the highest order across the entirety of the United States of America. Yet, the states decided they had the right to make their own choices and use their own voices. They started to engage in parallelization without permission, unilateral parallelization. There's a specific example of this process, a fun little journey into unilateral parallelization that hopefully drives a bigger point home. In 2012, in the pleasingly shaped state of Colorado, voters passed Amendment 64 as an amendment to their Colorado state constitution. This amendment led to statewide legalization of recreational use and retail sales of THC, the still federally illegal substance. However, the unilateral parallelization didn't end there for Colorado. Within those four corners of that one state reside over 5 million people. 5 million people across 104,000 square miles. That turns out to be too much land, with too many different types of people, to all be on the same page. Because they weren't on the same page. Even though a majority of voters in Colorado chose to vote for Amendment 64, changing the state's relationship with THC, there were other residents of Colorado with different voices and different choices. El Paso County, home to around 750,000 people, right near the center of Colorado, decided on some unilateral parallelization of their own. Pursuant to County Ordinance 13-01, El Paso County decided to only allow medical sales and does not allow recreational sales. El Paso County, Colorado, isn't siding with Colorado, but isn't siding with the U.S. government either. It's carving its own path. But that's not the end of the story. There's one last twist. It goes one layer deeper. On the edge of El Paso County, at the foot of the Rocky Mountains, lies what is generally called the City of Manitou Springs. With under 5,000 residents, technically, legally, it's what Colorado calls a home rule municipality, which gives it a fair bit of autonomy from state and county regulations, and they've used that autonomy to unilaterally decide they're 420 friendly. So, to recap, the people of Manitou Springs rejected Measure 2G, which would ban the sale of recreational THC, meaning that in a country of 350 million that bans all THC, in a state of 5 million that allows all THC, in a county of under 1 million that bans recreational THC, Manitou Springs, a city of 5,000, allows recreational THC. 2001, an attack, 2008, a market crash, 2020, a pandemic, and 2025. Even just one dude who got elected to do a job can make sweeping, fundamental changes to how the Constitution is interpreted, how the government is ran, how the economy works, how elections work. They can create or delete full agencies or personal agency out of or into thin air. What gets things done is political will, economic will, including the will to power of each individual, but above all, the power of the people uniting for common causes or shared interests. Voices and choices. That's where polity is derived and legitimized. That's where the social contract is signed, sealed, and delivered. Voices and choices. It's that simple, and the proof is all around us every day, for those with eyes to see it, or ears to hear it, or a nose to smell it, let alone if you have a computer to research it. As they say, where there's a will, there's a way. And there's certainly plenty of will in modern society, and this is the way to make big changes. So please join us in making that change. You're wanted here, your dreams are needed here. It's your next big thing after all. So I guess the real question is, will you allow us to join you in building your dreams? Stay tuned for part 3, where we will discuss exactly what each level of participating in YNBT looks like. And thank you for watching.